Hi guys, I hope you're all well. So as you know, I am now officially on my travels. This video is pre-recorded, but as you're watching this, I will be somewhere in South Africa, I'm not sure where. So this video is going to be kind of different to my other content. I thought I would sit and talk about some things that I've been thinking before travelling, because I kind of feel like I'm going in this a bit blind, and to be honest, I am not someone who has massively researched anything. I haven't really been actively looking at other people that have been travelling or anything like that. I'm literally going in, just not really any clue what I'm doing as a first time traveller. I guess you could say I've travelled on my own before, but that was a solo holiday for a week, and I've been on several holidays throughout my life, but I've never been properly travelling, and this travelling is going to be 3 months to 6 years. It could be any time limit. I don't really know how long I'm going to be gone for, so it's kind of scary, and I thought I would share with you a few of the things that I've been thinking and feeling and worrying about and all that kind of stuff, because if you have been travelling or you're planning on going travelling, they might be things that you have previously thought or are thinking as well, because it is quite a scary thing to think about. It is literally leaving your whole life, your whole comforts, and just upping and going around the world. It's quite a scary thought. So the number one concern that I've been having is, do I have enough money? Now, anywhere that you look online, people that have gone travelling have normally gone with some kind of time limit. So they've gone for 6 months with X amount of countries, they know what flights they need to plan for, things like that. Me and Adrian have kind of done this on a basis of, we don't know how long we've gone for, we don't know when we're going to be back. If we're going to be back, we don't know what countries we're going to, we don't know what hotels we're booking. We are literally going to South Africa to do a road trip, and that is all we know at the moment. So it's kind of a hit and miss thing. We are going to be working along the way, but my main concern is, are we going to have enough money to begin with? Now, the little bit of research I've done has shown me that a lot of people doing similar kind of things or going for similar kind of time frames have taken roughly about £3,000 each. Now that is kind of how much we've got, but I'm still worried. So the second thing is, will my money run out? That is kind of my big thing, because I know that I'm a bit of a spendy person, and when I'm in my element I tend to just kind of throw money at things, and then afterwards I'm like, oh, what have I done? I've spent too much. So I'm that kind of person that will go to the shops and spend no money on clothes but spend about £40 on food, and then wonder how I've suddenly got £40 less in my bank account. So that is one thing I'm going to struggle with, is probably budgeting, but hopefully, because South Africa is cheaper anyway, and a lot of the places that we're planning on going to are fairly cheap, so I shouldn't be too bad when it comes to spending loads of money. And I guess if I want to keep travelling, I need to remember that money does run out, so the less I spend, the longer I can go for. Number 3 is, we don't have enough of a plan. This has been my big thing. I guess this kind of leads back to my blog post about straying from the life plan. So even though we're not like getting married or having kids or anything, it's kind of a plan that normally when you go travelling, you have a set amount of countries, a set amount of flights, a set amount of things that you want to do and where you want to go. We don't have that. All we have really done is planned that we are going to South Africa for 3 months, because that's as long as I can be there without a visa. Obviously Adrian was born there, he is fine to stay there as long as he wants. So we're going to do 3 months, and then we are hopefully going to Croatia to work, and then hopefully Italy to work, and then we're not really sure what's going on after that. So basically anything from South Africa is a bit hit and miss at the moment. We're thinking about maybe Bali or somewhere quite cheap, but we're not really sure, and we're just going to see where we end up. But it is quite scary not really having a plan and not really knowing exactly what you're doing, because we wanted to do it at our own pace so that we know that we're getting the most out of every location, and yeah, we're basically just doing it at our own pace, but it's still quite scary not having a set plan. The fourth thing is something I have very much struggled with and still am struggling with, is so the fourth thing is, how much is an acceptable amount to cram into a suitcase? Now this was kind of a big thing for me, because I didn't want to take just a backpack, because I find that backpacks are great, they're a great size, but for me personally, the idea of having to pull my entire life out of a bag to find one top, to shove everything back in the bag, just wasn't happening for me. It just wasn't something I was prepared to do. I think it would just be an absolute nightmare, and I'd end up getting so stressed out that I would just end up really annoyed with the whole idea of wearing clothes every morning. So I've actually got a holdall, which is going to be in another couple of videos. I'll try and link them down below if I've already featured it. If not, I'll leave you the link to the suitcase, but it's basically a holdall suitcase by Roxy. So the suitcase is actually designed with kind of like sports in mind, so it's quite a big sturdy case. It's a really nice tropical print, and it's got a really big kind of like typical open out suitcase with 2 compartments and that kind of thing, so very much easier for me to pack into, and I've actually used packing cubes as well just to make the whole thing a lot easier for myself, but I just found that a lot easier to deal with, and I've struggled with putting stuff in. I have repacked and unpacked that suitcase so many times now, I can't even tell you. Which leads on to the fifth thing, is my suitcase too big? Now, I don't really think you can ever have too big of a suitcase, and considering we are basically going travelling indefinitely and I have fit my entire life into this one case, I feel like it can't be too big or too small. The only thing that I'm worried about is the like weight limit kind of, because if it's a big case and you're on a like shorter flight, then sometimes they get a bit funny about you being over 20 kilograms and stuff like that. So that's my kind of main concern, but I am taking a mini cabin bag as well, so if that situation arises, we could always leave my case with someone in that country, like a family friend or whatever, and then just go from there. But yeah, might have taken too much. So the sixth thing is definitely all the incredible pictures I'm going to be able to get, because that is one thing I have not stopped thinking about. Now, when we go travelling, I'm definitely focusing more on my photography, and I'm going to try and push my blog in a slightly new direction. So I'm keeping the fashion, I'm keeping all the real parts of my blog, I'm keeping everything basically the same, but transforming it into kind of like an extended version of me and a side of me that you guys maybe haven't seen yet, which is the more photography side, that kind of thing. So I'm thinking I'm going to add a lot more like photo diaries and maybe just random musings in different parts of the world. So if I'm in, say, a certain part of Bali and I've taken these amazing pictures, I can share that kind of story with you at the same time as just sharing the images, because I think that is a lot more meaningful than just saying to you, oh, this restaurant serves this food and this food's great and this is what they serve on the menu and this is the prices. I think it's nice to sometimes have a story too. And sometimes with the outfits as well, it's just nice to give you a kind of backstory about something I've done that day or that kind of thing. So yeah, I've definitely been thinking a lot about pictures and setups and all that kind of thing. The seventh thought I've had is wondering about friendships and whether we will make friends for life, because I've followed quite a few travel bloggers now and travel Instagrammers for quite a long time, and I've noticed that a lot of them have made friends through travelling who have become friends for life. So no matter what part of the world you're in, no matter what country or city or town or anything like that, you just have these friends that you make in a certain location that end up being your friends for life, and you end up meeting in different parts of the world and that kind of thing. And I think that's just really beautiful, and I kind of can't wait to see who we meet along the way, who we stay friends with, who we make friends with, and just kind of being open to sharing my life, I guess, with other people. Because as much as I share with you guys and as much as I'm confident on here, I'm actually quite a closed book, so I tend to open up quite quickly to people to then be shut down. So I've learned recently to kind of close myself off and just keep my close friend circle. So I'm kind of looking forward to being able to expand and hear other people's stories and thoughts and opinions and all that kind of stuff, and just share an amazing part of our lives with other people, because I think when you go travelling, everyone's on this kind of journey and it's just cool to cross paths and stuff. So very excited to see who we meet and who we end up passing in the streets and that kind of thing. And we're actually taking the lomography, I don't know how you say it. We're basically taking a Polaroid because we think it would be a really fun way of like keeping memories. So people that we meet along the way that we become friends with, we can take pictures of them, and then we've got a memory forever of that person, and we've got stories to tell with that person. And yeah, basically just I want some friends while we're travelling. The eighth thing is kind of a girl problem, but we're going to be staying in hostels and in the car and on boats and in tents and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to be necessarily staying in hotels every night and having luxuries. So one of my big things is, where the heck am I going to shower and shave? Because my legs, I don't want them to be hairy. I hate having stubbly legs and armpits. That is my biggest pet hate. So I'm kind of already thinking about, right, so if we're staying in the car, I need to make sure I have bottles of water, and I need to make sure I have baby wipes so that I've always got something to keep myself fresh and to be able to shave and all that kind of stuff. Basically just girl problems, because that's the kind of thing you think about as a girl that guys probably don't really care about, because they don't really need to shave. And to be honest, none of them really shower, they just get in the sea, so I guess they don't have to think about that as much as us. Number 9 kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, but the question is, can I stick to a budget? Because like I said, I'm a bit of a spendy person, and I'm intrigued to see whether I can really stick to a budget. And we haven't necessarily given ourselves like an amount per day to have, but we're kind of going to splurge where necessary and save where necessary. So for example, if there's something that we really want to do and we know that it's kind of like a once in a lifetime opportunity, we're just going to do it. But then if there is a cheap way around it, we're going to do that. So basically just needing to stick to a budget is kind of a big thing for us, but we don't have a set amount per day, which is quite a challenge, I think, actually. So number 10 is, I wonder if I will get homesick. Now this is kind of not necessarily just about missing my parents, but friends too. So living away at uni did kind of teach me a lot about being homesick, because I've kind of got over all of that stuff really. But I think being in another country so far away from home, if I'm feeling down or feeling sad or just kind of want someone to chat to or just share a really amazing experience with, I think that's when I'm probably going to feel homesick and miss my friends. But luckily in this day and age, we do have things like FaceTime, and we have phone calls that you can do through Wi-Fi, like WhatsApp and stuff, so I don't think I'm really going to miss my friends as such. I think I'll miss like the physical connection of having them there, and same with parents, but I'm still going to be able to talk to them every day and every time I want to, so I'm quite curious whether I'm going to get homesick or not. I think it'll be my parents that start missing me first, but we will see. that's basically it for my fears and thoughts when travelling. But if you have any, then let me know in the comments, because even if you're not going travelling or you haven't been travelling, I'd love to know in the comments what your main fears would be or your main thoughts would be if you're going travelling.